Redemption song.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Voices of Change, y'all. We're back here on our historical figure series, and this is second one. Today, we're going to talk about Bob Marley.
Redemption song.
Yo, so welcome to Redemption Songs, where we unpack the soul of reggae's eternal rebel, Bob Marley. Born Robert Nesta Marley on February 6, 1945, in a dusty Jamaican village, this kid from the trenches rose to preach love, fight Babylon, and drop truths that still shake stadiums worldwide. At its core, Redemption Song, that raw acoustic gut punch from 1980, urging to emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. Facing cancer's shadow, Bob stripped it down. No band, just guitar and gospel. Fast forward to today. He just had his 80th birthday, sparking an year-long uprising worldwide, from Kingston live streams to Stephen Marley's tours. This ain't nostalgia. It's a call to rise. So listen in to our listeners and viewers. Thank you for joining us today. What's your redemption song moment? Hit us in the comment. I'm going to pass it on to my boy Gabe here.
Yeah. And I'm going to take it for the touchdown. I got to always put in a football analogy there. I did play at UC Davis. Shout out to Aggies. They're going crazy right now. But let's rewind.
Shout out Blue Fire.
You know. Yes, sir. But let's rewind to the roots that made the revolution. We're going to touch base about Bob Marley in Trenchtown to Tough Gong. Now, flashback to the 1960s. Kingston. We got a teenage Bob Marley scraping by in the Trenchtown shanties. He discovers Rastafari through Haile Selassie and Marcus Garvey's ghost. Garvey, the prophet who dreamed black unity. Bob forms what is now known as the Wailers with Bunny and Peter, cutting ska-infused tracks that evolve into roots of reggae fire. And by 1973, Island Records signs them. Catch a Fire explodes globally, but Bob's no rock star. He's a warrior, surviving an assassination attempt in 1976 for his anti-apartheid vibes. Redemption Song, born from that grit, quoting Garvey to flip slavery's chains into freedom's key. Now we look at it now in 2025 as fans pack Seattle's Red Lounge for his birthday bash. Bob's story screams from ghetto to glow. Redemption starts at home. Now, have you ever felt that Trenchtown hustle in your own grind? Like, comment, subscribe below, and share your own grind about that Trenchtown hustle.
And now let's kind of just, go into a little bit of Bob Marley's mic drops. One of them is on freedom. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Straight from the Redemption Song. Bob's dropping therapy in music, a verse. In a 2025 world of doom scrolls, this is your reset button. Just inducted into the Protest Music Hall of Fame, I think in March 2025, it's proof that these words will never age. They will just continue to activate.
One love,
one
heart. Let's get together and feel
alright.
From the One Love anthem, but it echoes in every Marley track. Bob Bridge divides Jamaica's ghettos, Africa's struggles, but also global youth. Now drop this at your next cookout and watch those vibes unite. One love,
one heart. Let's get together and be alright. And then on top of that, he dropped some tracks on resistance. Get up, stand up for your rights. I think which was also co-written with Peter Tosh. And it's that rally cry that fueled anti-colonial fights. And recently, with Redemption Song hitting 600K certified streams, it's still a soundtrack for justice. And
Sheesh.
these lyrics weren't just hits. They healed nations, healed people, healed homes, hearts, even relationships, even anything. Even your phone might get healed if you play that song, or your speakers might get healed. But anyways.
But we talk about healing, right? Healing, love, redemption, unity, resistance, right? These all have and show the impact that Bob Marley had on not only just Jamaica, not only just the United States, but the world. And we're going to dive into the global echoes of this redemption, right? And so, what was Bob's redemption arc? You may ask. But what it is that it redeemed the world. Redemption song turned personal pain, his melanoma battle, into universal hope, inspiring everyone from activists to arena crowds to be united. And he united Ethiopia's famine relief with Zimbabwe's independence gig in 1980, where the PM Mugabe, where the PM Mugabe called him a comrade. Rastafari's roots tie him to Garvey's Pan-African dream, making reggae a weapon against oppression. Now, we fast forward 1980 to 2025. You see the Uprising Birthday Fest kicked off recently in February 6th in 2025 with the Kingston live stream drawing millions. Plus President Brown headlining Brooklyn spots. From London's July 4th tribute to new trap remixes shouting his name on X. Bob's impact? It's the glue for Black Lives Matter rallies and the peace that marches today. Listening and listeners, listen up. How's Marley's redemption playing in your playlist? And how's Marley's redempting in your playlist? Tag a track that freed your mind and let's see how Bob would vibe with it.
That's so true, man. Drop that tag in the comments to let us know which Bob Marley track, resonates with you in your mind. And to tie into now kind of modern day, 2025, and also continue on, we will always can see how Bob Marley has influenced the world. And his 80th Earth Strong, Rasta for birthday launched a global party. Stephen Marley's tour hitting Vegas in June, Eventbrite blowouts from like Seattle to Jamaica, which I even thought about going to, but just didn't have the capacity and the time to go to. And that uprising theme channeling the album's rebel spirit. Redemption song just snagged that gold cert, like I said earlier, of 600K units, proving that it's still pulling in streaming wars. And amid, climate fights, environmental justice, everything going on in the world and inequality, Bob's whispering, love conquers. If he were here, he'd collab probably with Burna Boy on a Unity Cypher. So I don't know what y'all thoughts are, but if y'all think Bob Marley and Burna Boy would be a nice, collab, I think it would. Drop a comment in the chat. We'll follow up with that. But, legends have layers. So let's kind of peel back some of the myths that we kind of want to talk about just a little bit here.
Yeah. And to peel back this myth, right? You first have to understand that Bob Marley, especially when he was out making music, still alive, 1980s, 1970s, and what have you, he was a bigger, larger-than-life image to a lot of people. He united masses of people. He was, what is love? One love, one heart. Let's get together and be all right, right? But we're going to delve into the man that was behind this myth, behind this portrayal of somebody that was larger than life. And let's be honest, Bob wasn't flawless. 5 kids, 5 women, just a little messy if you ask me. I ain't gonna lie. But
okay.
I mean, hey, I can't talk. I'm gonna keep that on wraps. I can't talk. However,
let your seeds soar.
What does it say? What does it say? It says, go forth and multiply. He was multiplying. However, his peace-loving image masked Jamaica's violent politics, right? And delving back into the root of this myth is that, he mediated the 1976, small Jamaica concert amid gunfire. And with the Redemption song Stark's solo vibe, Bob fought his band for it. ditching horns for honesty. And critics say that he softened Rastafari for his mass appeal, but that's just the genius, making revolution danceable. In 2025 list of timeless tracks, it's hailed as a freedom blueprint. Debate fodder: was Bob a sellout or was he a sage? Like, comment, and subscribe below. What you think? I say a sage, but redemption includes also the rough edge.
And let's just drop some fun facts just to kind of sprinkle these in. I'll kind of just list out a few here. You know, he was Garvey's shadow. Rastafarians hail Marcus Garvey as a prophet for predicting a black king, Haile Selassie, who Bob idolized. The redemption song quotes Garvey directly: "None but ourselves can free our minds." Also, he was a big soccer fan. You know, shout out to my team right now that I support, Arsenal. Go ahead, debate with whoever you want to. We're winning the Champions League coming up this year. Anyways, we were the only team that ever have an invisible season. Invisible Arsenal. He was a football fan, not pan. Bob Marley was a football fan. He was a football fiend. He used to rep Santos FC. If you know what that is, you're a real fan. And he once said, "Football is freedom." And played pickup games even during chemo, man. That's deep. And you got something on your toe that's going on. And also another hidden hit maker. Redemption Song was a last-minute add to the Uprising 1980 recorded acoustic in Bob's living room. You know, no wailers, just him, his guitar, and, you know, Ghost of Slavery, as you would say. And he was also a global glue. Bob's Legend album is reggae's best seller, 50 million copies, and still to this day, it's still looping and topping jazz and reggae charts. It's still topping my playlist as well, I could say that. And I mean, he was also an assassin survivor. In 1976, gunmen hit Bob's home. He got shot in the arm, but performed, you know, days later, shirtless, scar on display. And the bullet that hit me, that's the bullet that missed me. That's what he said. Woo! And then, you know, also Bob coined Erie, you know, all good, into global slang. His Tough Gong studio still pumping hits in Kingston in Jamaica. And then we also, into recent times, you know, a Japanese producer just dropped Bob Marley, all capital letters, a trap dance hall ode from Sapporo to Kingston, proving the legend's borderless. He had no limits. And he was also nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1978 for his Zimbabwe work. But, you know, politics blocked it. But still, prime ministers from Africa to Europe, they ignited his spirit. So those are just some fun facts just to think about Bob Marley, because, you know, as somebody who I've listened to the music, I would like to just know a little bit about his history.
Yeah, I'm going to catch it and run to the touchdown, you know what I'm saying? But delving back into Garvey's ghost, right? Garvey's roots in the Rastafarian roots, excuse me. Now, this does delve back into getting into a spiritual aspect for Bob Marley, right? He was a heart that was beating for Rastafari, a faith born in Jamaica's hills, tying him straight to Marcus Garvey's Pan-African fire. Now, I can delve a lot more into, Rastafari, you know, Haile Selassie, and what have you. However, I'm not going to do that. We're going to stay on topic. Now, Garvey predicted a black king, right? And enters Haile Selassie, the Ethiopia's crowned emperor, in 1930. And this was Bob's divine muse. Now, if anybody doesn't know what a muse is it has to do with music, the music inspiration, if that makes sense, right? And so Redemption Song channels this, right? Quoting Garvey's call to break mental slavery. Bob wasn't just singing, he was preaching a return to African pride. Dreadlocks, flying, herb, burning. And in 2025, a Rasta roadman packed Kingston's Bob Marley Museum for his 80th Earth Strong. This vibe's alive. You can check X for listeners. Now, I want to ask, though, what's a belief that frees your soul like Rasta did for Bob? Drop it in the chat below. We'd love to hear it, and maybe we could actually respond to it as well in one of our future episodes. However, we're going to take this moment to transition to the faith that fueled his global mission. Let's talk about his impact and what that means, not only then, but today. I'll pass it over to Tex to take it.
Bob Marley didn't just rock Jamaica, he shook the planet. His 1978 One Love Peace concert, picture this, gunfire tearing Kingston apart, but Bob gets rival politicians to clap hands on stage. That's just pure magic to me. Redemption Song carried that peace to Zimbabwe's 1980 Independence Bash, where Bob bankrolled his own gig to celebrate freedom. From London punks to Soweto youth, his voice was a global fist against Babylon. And his tunes fuel protests, from Gaza to Georgia, with the Redemption Song still hitting those streams all around the world every single season, summer, autumn, fall, spring, whatever it is. Bob's pushing change into the world. And, the raw kind of thing, and here's the raw truth, I think sometimes, is Redemption Song was Bob's last stand. He was diagnosed with melanoma in 1977. He fought through pain, chemo, and tours, pouring his soul into uprising. But that appeal to just the minds of people, that acoustic track, just months before cancer took him at 36, he recorded it in 1980, Redemption Song. No drums, no frills, just Bob, a guitar, and a cry for freedom. It's like he knew his time was short, leaving us with a will in song and something we still remember to this day. And as a fan, and as fans around the world light up candles at tributes, his fight feels personal. So what's another song that got you through a dark time? And let's continue honoring Bob's courage. Just drop it in the comment there. And let's transition to how his pain birthed anthems, but his joy built a family.
Right. And let's talk about how Marley's dynasty still lives on today. Now, when we think about Bob Marley, right, we always think about, hey, what was Bob? What did he represent? What was his legacy? And it's a family affair. His kids, Ziggy, Stephen, Damien Jr., Gong, keep the tough Gong torch blazing. Ziggy's got Grammys. Damien's mixing dance hall with hip hop. Whoa. And even grandkids like Skip Marley are dropping bangers in 2025, with Lion's Heart echoing Bob's vibe at a July London Fest. Redemption Song inspires their work, from Stephen's tour to Sadia Marley's foundation pushing literacy. This ain't just music, it's a movement dynasty. Who's your fave? Marley Air. And why? Slide into the DMs. Let us know your comments below. We'd love to hear them. Now, let's ask this question, though, as well. Which Marley's kids carrying the redemption flame for you? Also drop that in the comment section for us. We'd love to hear.
That's a true question. I want to know what y'all think about that. But also, Bob's on the big screen. Y'all saw the movie I was trying to remember is the 2024 One Love biopic, starring Kingsley Ben-Adir. You said what?
Biopic.
Yeah. It smashed the box offices in 2025, and it's still streaming strong, sparking new fans. And it zooms in on Redemption Song's birth, Bob wrestling with his illness, legacy, and love. And, I went through X and kind of just was buzzing with clips of his 1978 Peace concert, remixed into, fan edits and everything. Plus, there's a new documentary, I think, dropped at Sundance this January 2025, diving into his Rasta roots. So, Bob's not just a singer. He's a cinema soul. He connected people. And, I think that everybody has a Bob Marley moment. And drop it in the comments here if you'd like to green light for Hollywood. Tell us first so we can give you credit for it.
Let me know.
But let's all sing for redemption. Bob Marley didn't just sing Redemption Song. He lived it. Turning scars into stars, ghettos into galaxies. And let's honor him by jamming louder, loving harder, standing taller. If you play guitar, grab a guitar. If you play drums, get your drums. If you hum that chorus, I know, Gabe, you can sing a little bit there, man. You've definitely saved my life from some things through singing.
That's crazy.
Which is amazing. You saved my whole life.
Hey, hold on. Hey, yo.
But One Love, This is Redemption Songs. You know, we just want to have a quick episode with y'all to just talk about, Bob Marley and, peace, love, and one more time, just emancipate yourself and emancipate others around you. So thank y'all for tuning in, man. I'll leave you with the last words.
Absolutely, y'all. And, appreciate you all for chiming in with us. The time that we share, we hope that you take something away from this that can be worthwhile, not only for you, but your loved ones, and not only for today, but tomorrow and into your future. Again, we are the voice of change. You have, myself here, Gabe Martinez, but then also my guy, Tex Flamboy, my wonderful co-host, the man with the plan that you don't understand. You give him some gold and you put it in his hands, you know what I'm saying? And we love to have you guys here. So thank you for joining us. You can like, comment, and subscribe. Find us on YouTube, find us on Instagram, and you can find us on the Alive Podcast Network. Again, that is the Alive Podcast Network, Black owned, Black operated, full of Black entrepreneurs and Black business owners like ourselves. Go and check it out when you have some time. Other than that, though, we appreciate you always for the time that you do give us. Tex, you got any last words for us before we let them go?
Emancipate yourselves. Anyways, we are the voices of change. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.